Welcome to MotoGP Mac, where MotoGP fans congregate and fanboys fear to tread. A little bit of a flop up on that one, but sure, I haven't slept yet. Cut me a break.
I'll give you a participation medal.
Yeah, there we go. A little happy face. And Christ, after the Yamaha story you had on there,
that was fucking
a couple days ago. Christ, brought it out. You brought the freaking the fanboys out of the woodwork. I had one gas going. It's the tires. No, the Japanese are not doing poorly because of tires. They all run the same ones. Just wake up and smell the coffee. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Look, every manufacturer is struggling with the tires, right? Let's be very fair with that. Like you saw,
smuggle. It's like if you want to do smuggle Ducati and the good ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was kind of more so like one of Yamaha's major problems is anytime they fucking test, it rains. They don't have like Cal Crutchlow is not available, right, for testing, right? So he's not being available for the last 3 or 4 months, and they still haven't replaced him. Like what the actual fuck? Do you know what I mean? And this is my problem. This is the Japanese problem. It's taking too long. Cal Crutchlow is out. He's hurt his hand. He does not know when he's going to come back. On the phone, John Joe, do you want to ride the fucking bike? And we're going to be riding the bike now consistently.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh, we'll bring in this one, this time, this one, this time, this one, this time. Like, Remy Gardner, great lad. Delighted to see him get a chance to race the bike and stuff like that. Gone back to World Superbikes. So I mean, won't test the bike again. Dovizioso tested the bike again, was asked about wildcards, this, that, and the other. He's like, hell fucking no. Do you know what I mean? Don't want to do it, not interested in racing. And that's the problem. Like, and this, like, how easy is it to get a test rider? It is very fucking easy to get a test rider, right? How easy is it to develop a bike? It's very hard to develop a bike.
Right? We're on a different page on that. Yeah,
right. But if they're dragging their arse to get a test rider in, can you fucking imagine the decision on a real fucking decision? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's to me, and it really frustrates it. And then when they do test, it rains. And I know they have their race riders that can test as well, right? But Rins is injured. It just doesn't make sense to me what they're doing, and really, really frustrates me because obviously I'm a Yamaha fan. I want them to go forward. Now, tires do cause an issue, right? The tires that are there now are somewhat built with aero in mind, right? And the lads have aero, but they don't understand it, right? So they developed last year's aero or this year's aero based off other people's last year's designs, but the tires have changed from last year's designs. There you have it. Do you know what I mean? And you saw with the GP23, it took them time to dial out that chatter. Do you know what I mean? So again, these are all little things. So like Gas does have a point. Like the Japanese bikes, the tire realistically, right? It's king, right? You can have a bike that's 10 miles an hour slower down the straight, but it could be killer in the corner.
But it's not the reason they're lacking. You know what I mean? It's not the reason they're lacking over Ducati or the Europeans.
No. Look, there's multiple pieces of the pie of why that is, and like tires is probably one of them. It's not working the tires, or it's overworking the tires, if you know what I mean. So look, that is definitely one thing.
With a fanboy, it's never the bike. It's never the bike ever, no matter what. It's just
do you know something? Next year, I think, and I was only thinking of this actually this morning. Next year, we're going to have the complete answer to every fanboy's question. And that's it. And Mark moving on to next year. Mark moving on to a factory Ducati. If he wins, it's going to be fire. Like they'll be like, oh, it's Mark and whatever. And if he loses, they're all going to turn around. Oh well, the Italians are favoring Pecco and all of this. And then at the end of the day, you can have your like for like thing, and it's not bashing Mark or anything, but again, like I did see it with the Yamaha people, and they're like, dude, you don't understand. I very much so understand what is going on with Yamaha and all of this stuff. So for me, the Japanese are still very cautious in understanding what or how to develop in the European style. Now,
that, by the way, not to cut you short, but quick, I got to interject. Is it true Honda, they say, are looking at putting a European center for engineering?
Yes.
Now, the thing is, they have to fill it with European engineers. They can't take it, fill it full of Japanese engineers and expect the results not to change.
Yes and no. I think there will be a hybrid of both in there. I would think. No, you can't just fill it with brand new engineers from outside of the business and whatnot, right? You just can't. It's not.
Well, not outside of the business, but they got to grab some Europeans.
But you see, what they first and foremost need is they need a project leader that's capable of doing that.
Oh, well, of course, yeah. I mean, that goes without saying.
So yeah, build all the fucking bases that you want.
But then on the other side, that you can't just on the other side, you just can't have a leader, right? And then have lacking participants, lacking engineers. You got to get the top rate engineers, top tier.
But they're how would I say? How does it put it? It's not ever going to be just one guy, but it's going to be one guy builds a team, right? So one guy is going to build. Right. Yeah, but relax now before we talk. So that team that he builds is he'll build his 5 generals around him, each owning a vertical within the business. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that guy then will filter down from things. So look, if they're building the European thing, which people are saying they are, I don't know. Yamaha have it for years, and it's not fucking working. Do you know what I mean?
I thought they had it just partially. I heard so many different stories on that. I heard it's kind of sort of type. No, they've been a hybrid situation, but it's just not working.
Yeah, well, look, like the main engineering is always going to be done in Japan, right? So that's never going to be there. But
you're saying they're moving it? They're moving it to. Are they just grabbing European guys, or you're saying what is?
Yeah, I think they're going to be looking at scalping some talented engineers from the likes of, like, realistically, what you're looking at is like Yamaha have what's his name, Bertoloni, is it, from ex Ducati. So you're looking at trying to get high level guys from each other manufacturer, and then they pull that in, and then you understand the philosophy of the bike. Do you know what I mean? Like if you look at the Japanese philosophy of bike, it's short and high, right? And you look at the European ones are kind of long and low. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So like the philosophy of
way off.
Huh?
Yeah, somewhere it's way off, Yeah,
exactly. But like if you look at the Yamaha next to a Ducati, the Yamaha sits higher. Do you know what I mean? And it's just the thing, and same with the Honda. So look, there has to be a whole revision of that, right? And listen, let's be fair and very honest, because this will lead us into another segment. Like the Japanese are not going to go and be able to reverse engineer the philosophy of a Ducati bike unless they have someone from Ducati that fully understands the DNA of that bike. Right?
Or they have somebody scan it.
Nope. Still doesn't make any difference.
No, I'm just joking. That pterodactyl.
Yeah. But if that comes into another thing, like it's been pretty brand damaging in my view for Aprilia what happened. Right?
Yeah, I know.
Was this guy just a rogue? Did he do that on his own, or you think they told him to do that?
Oh, he fucking was told to do that, but they will blame that he did it on his own, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say he did it.
Now, for example,
they told him to do it.
Like it's again like
so they had to cheat to.
But it's not even cheating, right? It's just something you don't do in motorsport, right? You do take pictures of it.
I guess he's taking pictures. I don't,
you do this. It's like the time. I'm not sure if people would remember this, but in Brazil about 2 or 3 years ago in Formula One, the Mercedes car was like flat out down the straight, was just fucking killing everyone. And if you can imagine where the rear wing, the top element of the rear wing, obviously, as the air is pushing against that, they were, so obviously it creates drag, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what they couldn't figure out, and the cameras weren't tracking it, is that what was happening was that when the car would get to a certain speed, the wing would dip like this.
Yeah.
So, right?
Yep.
And whatnot. But no one could prove it. But there was these little, how would I say, white marks on the wing of where the wing was rubbing against the two carbon elements were rubbing against each other. And didn't Max Verstappen, who wanted to know, is that wing able to move or not, went over and he pushed it, right? And it moved. And he got fined like $150,000 or something for touching touching another competitor's car.
Yeah.
Now, they all found out then that it moved, right? And Mercedes had, all of a sudden, the next race was as slow as a fucking dog again because they were caught cheating. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But again, like, so, and look, I know from photographs and this, that, and the other, and, you know, that you can reverse engineer. But again, it comes back to the philosophy of the bike. Like, the Stegosaurus wings that Ducati run, the rear cowling is virtually identical from 22 to 23 to 24. Slight changes. Nothing I would write home about, right? But again, Aprilia this weekend or last weekend, we're running Stegosaurus wings on the Trackhouse racing bike.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the video I was showing?
Yeah.
So we also know Aprilia have been struggling with the diffuser part of the rear cowl of their own bike.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think it's pretty, I would just say just underhand thing to do, to just walk over to a competitor's bike and take a scan, even if that is just a close-up video of it.
What I would think is, how much are you going to get out of one scan going by it? It wouldn't even be worth it. Like,
if it's a 3D scan, yeah, you get something out of it, you know.
Okay.
But if it's just like a video of it, Joel, you just
you're gonna get a piece of, you know what I mean?
But it would just be blurry because it'd be just
right.
blurry. Like a 4K picture in the side of the racetrack would do you far better,
right,
than anything. But you know, and like you look at it as well, you know, you have 2 or 3 of those riders, four. Is it 4? Yeah, 4 of those. No, 5. You have 5 out of the 8 Ducati riders that would use Alpine Stars leathers, right? So Maverick uses them. So like they could get a size reference off Maverick's suit, just say for instance, and put it towards the pictures of the thing. Do you know what I mean? They find a way to correlate what's going on in the designs to get an accurate design. But again, saying that, nothing will beat.
So they're more interested in the rear of the bike than anything else, because it seemed like he was focused on that rear end, not like,
yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. So whatever it is that they were looking at, it is, and you could see then Terrazzi giving him fucking shit. Like,
oh yeah, you can imagine him. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's one of those fellas that would be kissing you, but if you looked at him weird, he'd fucking He'd knock you the fuck out straight away.
I couldn't see Gigi doing that. I couldn't see Gigi doing what he did.
But apparently Gigi is a fucking animal in the conversation. Then apparently, like he's.
Oh
like,
yeah, okay.
Like, well, no, he wouldn't be as aggressive as thing, but
yeah.
My understanding is Gigi is talks like an engineer, so he talks in matter of fact. And if it's a matter of a fact, you're a fucking asshole. Guess what? You're a fucking asshole, and that's exactly the way he will tell you it. You know what I mean? So. But yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of things, and I've noticed that Rivola hasn't come out and said anything to quell it either. So I think he might be on the defensive, let's just call it. Yeah, so it is a bit interesting on that. What else was going down this week?
I was going to ask something about last week. So Marc Marquez last week, him not being able to that ride height device, he was having issues. Were the issues he was having, was that something that he did? Like was he?
He said it's something he did. He didn't have enough room to engage it again.
So yeah, so he engaged the front. And then he stopped too hard and the bike popped up again. And then he dropped the rear. And when he dropped the rear, he realized the front was back up.
Yeah.
But then he was trying to drop the front again and it wouldn't go. Now, look, again, I think Mark did a brilliant race. But then I was watching the race after and, you know, he just used his strong points like he did like we've seen Mark come back through the field a number of times now, right? But MotoGP is in the way of now when you look at the likes of Pecco, Martin and them, etc. You give them 2 or 3 seconds, they're gone. You're never getting it back. Never, ever, 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 ever. And if you're closing in on them in 3-4 tenths of a second a lap, they either have a tire issue or you're going to crash. It's one of the two. You're going too fast. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think Mac's ride was really good. But it's nothing that I don't expect from Mark after. So how many times is this that he's had to come through the field after either a shit qualifying or a poor start, or you know what I mean? And like that's not dissing Mark. That's just saying. I think we've seen them. Like I think he has the most crashes and the most overtakes in the championship. You know, and like the first time I saw him doing something like this, do you remember Kota? Do you remember he duffed the start?
It was the same thing. I was gonna point that out, but I didn't. You know, he did the exact same thing. It was something with the ride height device, and he had to fight his way.
No, that one with Kota when he was on the Honda. Do you remember? And
it was something with the start. It was
something with the start sequence, and he duffed it, and he came back through the grid, right? Now, let's be fair, lads, right? Whenever you're doing something and you fuck it up, right? You try extra fucking hard.
Right from the get-go.
Right from the get-go, do you know what I mean? Whereas, and look, again, I won't take it away from him. It was a brilliant comeback race for him.
He was perfect. I'm gonna be honest. I saw they showed the video of him like the whole time, like trying to catch back up, and his line was perfect. I've never seen.
But a lot of the lads ahead of him were having trouble though. Like you look at Miller, you look at his brother. Like you could see when he passed Alex that time coming up into the chicane. Alex came out of that first corner, lit up the rear end, last drive, and he went. He leveled with him by the time of the chicane. So there was a lot of people in front of him fucked up as well, right? So, and gave him the opportunity to get into that space because, like, realistically, if Jack didn't fucking mess up or Binder, you know, like, or Alex, like, for example, he wouldn't have got Alex if Alex didn't spin up coming out of turn 1. There's not a hole. Do you know what I mean? So there was a good number of people ahead of him fucked up as well. Do you know what I mean? And that's not taking anything away because he still had to pull off the maneuvers and stuff. So like I'll give it to him. Like, but again, this has become a standard Marquez story where he's battling through thing. The question and the big question is that can he fucking hang with the big lads?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And right now he hides behind, and the fanboys hide behind. He doesn't have the same equipment.
But it's not the same coming up from 12th to 4th that it is from going from 4th to 1st. I mean, it's a whole new
different kind of piss. Yeah, whole different kind of piss.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where I think it is, you know, where it is. Do I believe he is going to win? Yes. I do believe, you know, he will win. He will do it. And that's nothing about the bike and whatever, and I know people are going to turn around and be like, oh, he's won on a 23 bike and he's beaten the 24 bike, and some bikes will work really well in one place and they won't fucking work at all. Or a rider just turns up to a track and he already just has 3/10 on everyone. Do you know what I mean? And like we've seen it this weekend, Jack Miller was fucking brilliant. He hasn't been fucking at the races for majority of the season. Do you know what I mean? He likes the circuit. He gets on with the circuit. Do you know what I mean? And
so his crashes, are they? I don't want to put him out like that. But,
and is he signed yet? Is it official? He's signed.
He's not officially signed. I think there's an agreement there.
They might as well pick him up.
Yeah. But who else are you going to put in there?
I was telling Mac before we started up that I saw it on the sites have been getting so goofy that it said that Miller had signed with Grassini, and they had pictures of Mark showing Mark Miller around the Grassini paddock.
Yeah,
it's just getting out of hand. It's like a grocery store tabloid.
Yeah, some of these sites are like the fucking National Enquirer, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Aliens stole my husband. All right, fair enough.
Mark Marquez is a real alien.
Yeah. It's V.
Yeah, he's better off on Grassini.
Who? Jack?
Oh, you said Jack, right?
Yeah, Jack is going to Yamaha.
Damn.
See, you got to.
He's not going to Grassini. Like what's his name's manager?
Why the hell did they pick him up? You know.
What's his name? Aldegar's manager said basically it's going to cost Ducati way more than 300,000 to release Tremaine. So that's not going to happen, you know. And Gigi kind of said it like the fact that there's only going to be 3 factory bikes. There will be 4 next year or 3. Or sorry, in 2026, I think there will be. I don't actually think there'll be a new bike, but anyway, what was I going to say? I think it's going to be a pretty weird one. But look, I think Jack the deal is almost done there, and as well, Oliveira will be in there. So Pramac, Yamaha will be Miller and Oliveira. Mm-hmm. These sites, they're really, really pissing me off. I don't watch other creators on YouTube, as many people already know. Mainly just because I don't want to be influenced by other people's shit. I read the things and whatnot, and I make my own mind up. Which I think is the way it should be for everyone. Mm-hmm. And this is what we love about the channel, that people have difference of opinions and stuff like that. Always respectful, of course. But anyway, for me, what was it that I read? I read Shock. I read one of them out, and it was like Valentino Rossi's shock. Big news, big shock, Valentino Rossi. Big shock, Marc Marquez. And then they were going on about Rossi was testing in Misano. Now, for many dipshits that do not know, right, Rossi is from a town called Trevoglio, right? Which is a stone's throw from Misano. And the VR46 Academy spend an awful lot of time in Misano testing. or at Rossi's dirt track or whatever track. So Rossi going there when there's a track day on in Misano is actually a very normal thing to do. There's MotoGP on there. There's a private track test day. I don't know about you guys, but I know for a fact it's very expensive to rent a circuit for a track day, right? And if there's a MotoGP or World Superbikes or something like that, they would have security and all of this stuff that Rossi doesn't have to be worried about people coming into his garage in a fucking track day. Do you know what I mean? It's very, very common. The other one that I saw was that Liberty Media has gone bankrupt. All of this stuff, and you know, the other side of the coin, when you look at, and it's one of the things that I always look at, besides Mr. Beast, who is getting a bit of a battering in the press at the moment, right? There's very few creators out there that every single video they do goes viral, right? And I can tell you, any MotoGP site, even MotoGP itself, right? Have a look at when it launches a video, right? From the official MotoGP channel that has like 5 million subscribers or whatever. They only get around 10, maybe 15% of the views on their channel. And that's what you call a normal thing. But if you see someone whose every video goes viral, right?
Yeah.
And every video is a generic voice and starts with this amazing news, right? All of this is done by a thing called vidIQ and TubeBuddy that they write AI titles for them. It also writes their AI content and also puts an AI voice onto it. So all of this stuff you can buy, and basically how the AI works is you put in a story. I walked along the road and I farted, right? And it will go across the internet and it will scrape articles to do with walking, farting, the whole fucking lot, right? It'll mash it together and it'll create a script. That's how this shit works, right? So, and it's something I choose just to hide the channels now from myself. I don't really want to be seeing stuff, and that's because I know what's going on in MotoGP, so I kind of know what's real and what's fake. And whereas there's people that may not know, but 90% of those channels, they're called bot views that you can buy for like $2 for 1,000 views. And then all it is a thing of trying to get sponsors in or whatever. They make fuck all from it. They sell on the channel and that's it. Or else they get banned. You know, like everyone remembers MotoGP News, another fucking cowboy that used to do it. But again,
he was such a radical fanboy. He opened up like 6 or dozen sites, right?
Yeah.
So when he got banned, he just threw one on there. You know, if you said something about Honda, he went nuts. You know.
Yeah. Look, there is a few of them, and look, I love and I will absolutely 100% endorse any channel that is giving out good news and is factual and right, and I will reference them and whatnot. But these ones,
by the way,
and but I won't. I just don't entertain the cheap generic ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but by the say we see there's a couple of them good ones that just came out, but they look like we do, just normal guy or guys.
Yeah, and they'll go through their YouTube journey of growing and creating and understanding it, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? That's good. But like if you see someone, they have 10 subscribers and they have 4 videos, and each video has got 20,000 views. It's bollocks. You know, doesn't happen like that. And like I know from my start of it, when I started, I did my first video. I was full of piss and vinegar and delighted with myself. I think I got like 10 views.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's the normal way it goes. I think I think it took me about 6 months to average 100 views in the video.
Yep.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and it took me
this like grew from being honest. It really did.
Yeah, it did. It did, to be fair. But look, we're not everyone's cup of tea either, and that's okay too.
By the way, I said it first. By the way, I heard that the R1 is coming back, and they're going to go with a inline twin engine, big cubic inch inline twin.
And then that's not an R1.
Well, that's the way they're going.
Yeah, but that's
Jeez.
Yeah. Remember I said that's why I'm buying up all my parts. I'm going to keep the bikes I have forever. That's why. But they're doing it in increments. You see it. There's an R9.
Yeah,
they just can't go to say an R15. Okay, because what happens is if they go to R15, then the emissions is better. But then the EPA people say, "Oh, if you can do 15, we want it done tomorrow," and then everybody has to get their shit up to that level tomorrow. So they got to do it in increments, or they'll just rape. The EPA will rape them. I
know that, but what I'm kind of going on about is that the R series of Yamaha, like a V twin, is not going to be an R. You know, you can fucking call it an R, right? But it's not fucking R. Like the R is peak fucking performance out of a screaming inline 4 engine. That's it, right? You know, and like. Like when you try to compare the R7 to an R6, you can't. You just fucking can't. Do you know what I mean? And
it's a fun bike. It's just not the same.
It's not, no, and it's nowhere near as powerful. It's nowhere near as fucking radical. It's it's fun. Don't get me wrong, but it's safe.
Yeah.
Whereas the inline 4, she'll just fucking scream at you. Do you know what I mean? And she'll beg you for more. So she's like a dirty hooker. Do you know
we still love you.
yeah. But whereas the V's, they're a little bit lazy. Let's just call it. Do you know what I mean? Compliant. Let's just call it. And for me,
welcome to well, just thank your local tree hugger for that one.
I always try and thank my local tree hugger.
They're gonna have to do a V series. That's the only way.
But that's not going to change the EPA bit. That's not going to.
It's not going to do it.
Yeah, well, that's the reason. By the way, that's the reason that the Ducati went into the e-bikes for the racing, because it gives them credits against the
EPA
road bike in the EPA. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the things that I was looking at, right? But then saying that, right?
I know it's just goofy.
But yeah, but I was looking at a crypto thing there recently, and it was to do with carbon credits. I can't remember the name.
How does crypto credits link in with EPA?
So basically, what this thing was that I think it was like an affiliate thing. So if you were a bit of a tree hugger, right, and you wanted to buy a Ducati, right? Now it wasn't Ducati that it was linked into what I was looking at, but basically Ducati would have an affiliate link that you would buy your bike through or your equipment through, right? And a percentage of that would go to buying crypto credits in this, right? And then you retire those when you have enough. So let's just say a carbon credit is worth $5, and you get $15 or $20 back from your loyalty thing for buying through this affiliate link, and then you can retire 4 tons of carbon. There is those schemes out there, and you get a certificate.
That has hustle written all over it.
But then you get that's funny. Like it was just one of those things. Look, I have a lot of weird interests that I track weird projects. But look, it is a big thing that you can instead of getting cash back, you can choose to offset it and do your tree hugger business. if you want to. But anyway,
or do the $78 trillion bill they want to do over here. Yes, that was trillion with a T.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, just up to you living in such a fucked up different world over there. So I'm very happy
It's
over
so screwed up over here. Trust me, you're going to get bit in the ass with it too. $78 trillion. We don't have. If you sold the whole country off, it wouldn't be $78 trillion.
Here,
Boy,
I'm sure.
Three times.
I'm sure there's some sort of payment plan.
Yeah. Yeah, for the next 200 years, okay, you don't get a paycheck because it's already been sold. Yeah.
Yeah. The Pablo Nieto came out there actually from VR46, and he was just like commenting on the GP24 versus the GP23, and he was just saying it's that the GP24 is easier to ride than the GP23, which we kind of knew in a way, right? Because Pecco has already said it, right? But it's still not the GP22, which is good. And he's like, and what Nieto said is that last season the gap between the 23 and the 22 wasn't big, while this time it's a little bit bigger. That said, in my opinion, the main factor is the way you drive it. Let's say the new one is much easier, it's more docile, while in the previous one, the peak of the power of the engine was delivered more aggressively. This is why, whether you like it or not, it makes the handling of the vehicle a little bit worse. And I think, I don't think he's wrong there. We knew that the GP23 engine was peaky. But again, saying that,
and the 24 is a substantial amount of power increase too than the 22. So they have to put that. You don't get it for free. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's the other side of it. The tires have completely changed as well. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, and the tires have changed too, right?
So yeah. What else has gone on? There's a couple of things. What's his name?
I was gonna say Franco signed with VR46.
Yeah, he did. Mm-hmm. I still don't know what to do. Now, look, I'll be honest. I couldn't, if there was a free seat in VR46 and Franco was without a seat, of course he was going there.
Mm-hmm.
Big question is Vietti next year? Like, I think next year is do or die for Vietti, right, in Moto 2. If he doesn't come up trumps, then,
Does he have a 2-year deal, Franco?
He has a 2-year deal with Ducati, though, for, am I getting the wrong guy? For to be in MotoGP, though.
No, that's Eldegar.
Oh, yeah, see, I got it messed up with Eldegar, yeah.
Yeah, it's a 1-year deal, I think, for Frankie.
Yeah.
I like Frankie. I think he's coming back well this year. Right? He'll be on the same bike next year.
Mm-hmm.
DJ will have the 25. But I don't know. I don't see a contender to for VR46 to put in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if Marini, like the big test will be is that what will happen, and this is a big political one, right? What will happen at the end of 2025
for VR46?
Yeah, Marini's going to be out of his contract with Honda.
Mm-hmm.
So is Rossi going to let his brother, if Honda don't take him up again? Is Honda going to let him do that? Is he going to go to Christian?
That's going to be even a tough road to hoe for Rossi to take him on. I mean, you got a guy that has two points or some ridiculous amount.
But look, you don't like he's not going to become a slow rider overnight, right? Clearly, he can't get to grips of the Honda.
Well, then
he is beating Mir now though in the last couple of races. Handsomely, even though that he might have scored a point, he's still beating him, right? So I don't know. I think it's a very, very weird situation in VR46, and next year, the end of next year, could be a real awkward one then as well. Going with that, then we have young Acosta, and And I must say, I think he's some character. You know, I watched that TNT thing, and you learned a little bit more about how exactly he works, which is absolutely, he just fucking wants to ride his bike, and everything else can fuck off.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is kind of come out
overnight though. You gotta watch it.
Yeah, he's just kind of come out and he's like, you know, I'm going to make trying to make all my rookie mistakes this year. He's found the balance of the bike, but the balance of the bike that will allow him kind of finish races will mean that he won't finish races towards the front. So it will be, excuse me. So it will be, how would I say? Will be interesting to see, you know, because like he's trying to eliminate them for 2025, and he's like, you know, it won't be acceptable, blah 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 blah. So, and then Paul Espargaro believes that KTM will be title contenders next season.
They say that every year. They've been saying they said that this year. We're gonna fight for the title. Yeah, even with that bike is not, something's going on with that bike. It's not even.
Yeah,
they haven't finished on the podium this year, right?
Yeah, it's
not even in the sprint.
They just need to turn somewhat. You know what I mean? It's not Honda bad, but it's crazy. But it's.
I think it's both. Down the straight, they're not passing anybody down the straight.
Well, it depends. I mean, if it's a track where they can get, you know, they have momentum coming off the corner, then they can pass coming down the straights. But if they're hitting wheel spin if they're coming off a slow corner, and all that power in the world is getting burned up trying to get away.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
No point in having power if you have no traction.
Right.
Power is nothing without control.
Yep.
Not the old Pirelli fucking slogan, isn't it?
Yes, I don't believe them, and they say that every year. They said that this year we're gonna be fighting for the championship. It's like, how do you know that?
Well, I think last year when he said it, that he thought he was getting Marc Marquez, pit pirate.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah. If you're getting Marc Marquez, yeah, I can see that. But
yeah. I'm just still pissed at my Aprilia. Pulling such a jackass move.
It is like it was. Like I would class it as just as dirty as, remember Max Biaggi's team there? They tried to stop a young fella going out on track. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Stopping qualifying, and they got banned.
But the mechanic grabbed him, or grabbed at the handlebars. Is that the one, or the one he punched him in the mouth?
Yeah. Where the mechanic tried to grab his front brake or something, or his clutch or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
So yeah, it's look at it. It was
that could be a guy just being a jackass and so stupid.
Could be. But look, we'll wait
like
and see.
I can't see somebody saying, "Yeah, that'll work." Yeah, like somebody going, "Yeah, that'll work." Yeah, go up and take a snapshot of it. You know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't need 5 engineers. We need one guy with a good phone. You know what I mean?
Not with an iPad. And
you're right.
Yeah, I'd say that now is the same fucking mechanic that is standing there looking, you know, for the bucket of elbow grease or the glass hammer or the you know, here's a bucket, catch the sparks from the grinder.
Jeez, yeah, I've seen that. Yep, saw that.
You know, it's possible that he could be one of those weirdos, but I still do find it very weird though. That Aldegar hasn't been announced.
Yeah.
You know, like
is realistically, left other than Aldegar?
Well, yeah. Well, look, there's the two
Miller.
There's the two Quebec seats. Is there?
Why did it take so long on that?
And there's a Trackhouse seat, isn't there?
No, Iagor and is that Trackhouse? Iagor and Raul Fernandez.
Yeah.
Raul. Raul. Sorry. Yeah. So it's only the Yeah, it's only 3 seats left, so in the merry-go-round, isn't there?
Yeah, we got
Really?
one with Grassini.
Yeah,
two
which is supposed to be Aldegar, but like again, I really don't know when or why they haven't announced him. And
I want to know what's going on with BMW too.
I'd say nothing at the. Well, sorry, I would say there's the chats, right? But with your man putting it down, the
Buying the rights to Suzuki Tech doesn't seem what you hear. That doesn't make sense to me because it's out of date. Right?
Yeah.
It just seems kind of.
No, that's
unless they're selling off for cheap because it is Suzuki. They have no money. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, but it's way out of date. Like it's way out of date. Like if it was within one season, you could kind of say okay. But the other side of it wasn't no. Then there was a big fuss being made about Marc Marquez testing at the Aspar circuit there with his brother Alex and Davide Alonso. And a big fuss made that he was on a Honda CBR 600, which is one of his own personal bikes, Now, it's a go-kart track, more or less, right?
Literally. Yeah.
Like it's not that big track. Do you know what I mean?
It's like 8 foot wide or some ridiculous thing.
But also, Davide Alonso was on a Yamaha R6. So, like, there's no point in them being out there on a big
1,000cc bike,
a leader bike, exactly when another fellow's on the 600. They kind of use those to how to say they kind of use those to.
Doesn't that get them around the testing rules too, just for practice?
No. It's okay, like because like testing.
I mean, for their physical state.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, but like if you do look at the Aspar circuit, it's small and it's tight, right? Or the Aspar circuit, right? So it's perfectly suited to small bikes there. And there's actually a very good museum actually for the Aspar racing team there as well. So if anyone's ever in the area, you should definitely check it out. But again, look, a leader bike there wouldn't really do. What's his name? Alonso was on an R6 as well, an old one actually. It wasn't a new style, which I noticed, which I found interesting. What else? Yeah, that's my baby. That one. But what you would call it? Like I don't read anything into it. It was just a track day. On track days, then you can't test at a circuit 2 weeks before you race there. So it's safe for them to go fuck around there. But yeah, it wasn't a big deal in my view that he was on the CBR and not a Ducati, but a lot of people I know
just trying to push that. That's the fanboys trying to push that. Hey, maybe he's going to go back to Honda. That wish upon.
Yeah, these fanboys, man, there's something else. I made a comment on that post and I got a lot of hate for it. So
you should see my you should see my inbox. Yeah. It's unfortunately, look, I have no problem with anyone wanting their manufacturer to win, right? I don't, and I think, I think people coming out with hope for this, that, and the other. I always think that's very good, and I will never, like my son plays football, and I would never want him to go into a match believing he's going to get hammered. Do you know what I mean? Right. Even though that everything tells you you're going to get beaten, you still go in and you play the game that's in front of you. You don't play it. You don't worry about it. And but it's, it's people that are, let's just say
people who don't care. All they care about is their brand winning. They don't care if the sport burns down to the ground. Okay, if it makes all they want is to say, "Oh, I have the same brand bike in my garage." You know?
Yeah. Look,
they're just jackasses. I'm sorry, they don't.
I think. Yeah. Look, I don't necessarily have too much time. I do look at every comment every day. I don't always have time to reply. Some make me laugh, to be honest. Some make me roll my eyes. Some make me, but like sometimes that I do comment back. I very rarely comment back to fanboys. Do you know what I mean? Unless they're being really fucking stupid.
Wait till the Chinese come in. Jesus, can you imagine that's going to be like?
I don't know. I think I don't know. But anyway, look, it'll be as we say in Ireland, we have a saying here, it'll be grand. It doesn't matter. You're being buried alive, sure, it'll be grand. It'll be fine.
I mean, if they come in and they're great, I'm happy for them. The Chinese come in and they're rocking and rolling, I'm happy for them. But there's going to be people going, "Oh my God, it's the end of the world," and blah, blah, blah.
No, yeah, but look, I don't think there's going to be a Chinese MotoGP manufacturer for some time yet.
Could be a World Superbike contender though.
Yeah, but look, World Superbikes is great, but it's just not the level of MotoGP.
Will be 2027 though.
No.
It's going to be the more MotoGP is going to be the slow one of the two.
It won't. Well, not a hope.
Oh, we got beers on that one.
Oh, we do. Yeah.
Mortgages, if you like. I mean, I'm so sure of that one.
Yeah, neither of us have a mortgage, so it's fine. So, but no, it's no. I actually think it could be damaging, but more damaging to World Superbikes if it turns around there's an 800 faster. You buy even extra 200 cc's, and they're still beating your ass down the straight.
Down the straight, I don't think
the straight. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, they will. I have.
It didn't sound good when the guy who was doing the rolls going, no, we really clamped down.
No, your man reckoned. What was it? Your man reckons that they'd be down about 30 to 40 brake horsepower. If they're at like 315, 320 now. That's the 280. That's more than any World Superbike.
Well, that's not what I heard. I mean, that guy was going, listen, we covered everything on this one. I can give you sources and everything. He said that we covered all of it. It ain't going to be like it. He said it's not going to be like the 800s. We covered our bases down. So they're not going to,
If it's 40 or 50 brake horsepower down, then their regulations have worked. But the problem with the new regulations and the new sets of regulations is engineers find loopholes in all of those, and that's where they exploit it.
That's what they were going over. The guy goes, "No, we covered this time. We covered it all." Down.
Listen. Wow. Yeah.
He said it just as clear as down. Like, oh shit, that's the end of that.
Listen. I've heard all that before, hundreds of times in Formula One. You look at what's going on in Formula One, right? The Red Bull car, all dominant and all of this, that, and the other. Apparently, what they were using to help rotate the car in the middle of a corner. So going through a slow corner is they were using augmented braking system styles or whatever. So if you could imagine you're going through a right-hand corner, a slow right-hand corner, and you're pressing the brake just as hard, but the car knows it's turning right. Okay? So it puts more pressure on the inside rear wheel brake of the right side. You're turning right, so it'll put more pressure on the rear caliper of the brake as you're turning than on the outer one. So it helps to rotate the car through the corner.
Mm-hmm.
That's handling. Okay?
That's
Jacob, an engine's a pump. Okay?
I know that, but my point is that these are all outside of regulations. These are things that people never thought of within the regulations.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the active air or with the aerodynamics, as I was talking about with Hamilton there a while ago. All of these things. You had Red Bull, or was it Ferrari? Ferrari, I think. That they were burning oil in the engine to give it more power.
Okay.
Burning oil to give it power.
Yeah.
So
that's why I kept catching on fire.
So you can have your regulations as tight as possible. There's always some dirty bastard out there, right, with a smart engineer, and he's
like. With this one is you have another dirty bastard engineer going, we're going to cut this one out, and we're going to go right. We're going to cut it right to the quip. We're going to take it so that pump can't work.
Listen, they will find a way to make that pump work. I'm telling you, 100%. I know this. Engineering 101.
You can't have a pump and have no intake. Okay.
Listen, one time
not have exhaust on it.
At one time, listen, we had square wheels, and no one thought that making them round would work.
Yeah. When the men were
and at one time, people thought the Earth was flat. Right.
You still think that's out there. I think the world's flat.
Yeah,
exactly. People would say that.
But you know what I mean. There is a regulation that comes into place, and everyone's like, "Okay, that's it, yeah." And then there's a team, and this is where these money
covered yet is RPM, and that's the next thing to come. If they don't beat this, they're going to cut Ducati off of RPMs, or the Europeans off of RPMs, and they'll single them out and say your engines can only go 8,000 RPMs, and there's no getting around that one.
They'll have fucking some dirt again. Look, I you know,
that's better for Ducati.
Listen, yeah, you just make your engine work better
because they don't use the whole. They don't use that V4 can only. I mean, they got.
Well, it's not if it's that low, yeah, there'd be trouble.
If they already have the torque at the bottom. I was saying because the V is the torque is more so.
That's on Harley guys, but torque does not make speed. Torque is for like pulling stumps out of the ground. If you combine torque with horsepower, it gives you acceleration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but what CB is saying is if you look at Pecco coming out of the last corner last weekend in the Austrian Grand Prix, he was pulling 1 to 1.5 bike lengths on everyone.
I know.
That's torque with the acceleration. Do you know what I mean? It is race week actually.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Aragon this week.
Yeah, I was going to look.
It will be. Yeah.
Aragon. This is Marc Marquez country, lads. This is one of his two remaining. This is one of the two remaining tracks where I think he could win.
We're going to see. We'll see.
Yeah, first turns left, isn't it?
I'm sorry, I can't put my money on Marquez. I'm sorry. He's too.
He's still in Marquez's mindset. He's either almost win or crash.
But you got to go with Pecco or Martin. That's like you had to put money on it. I'm sure.
I think Marquez is being a little bit more he's being more subdued than he used to be.
I think he's already set now on
next year.
Next year. I think his focus has moved to next year and making sure that he goes into 2025 in full healthy condition. Because look, Marquez is not a stupid fucker either, right? Mm-hmm. He knows, and he fucking knows that he needs to be on his best days.
Yes, he has to be on his A game.
Yeah, like if he goes up
A game,
if he goes up against Pecco and loses,
I think he's gonna lose.
That's kind of it's the enigma of Marc gone. Do you know what I mean? Everyone will kind of be saying, "Okay, he's on the slippery slope to retirement now."
Oh yeah,
you know,
he's downhill.
Yeah, and like let's be very, very honest here, right? Looking at the credentials of that Marc has, Marc should beat Pecco on the Ducati, right? It would be my expectation that Pecco would have a hard time beating Marc.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
but on the other side of that, right? Marc cannot make the mistakes that he used to and get away with it as far as
now Marc now, and this is my next bit. Marc now though has an ultra fast teammate that will challenge him.
Yep.
Like, it's different, right? And I know Pedrosa was fast, but Pedrosa was never a MotoGP world champion.
Yeah.
Right? Lorenzo, when he went to Repsol Honda next to Marc Marquez, yes, he was a world champion, but a shadow of the world champion that he was.
Mhm.
You look at Pecco now. Pecco is in his prime. Could possibly be a 3-time world champion.
Yep.
A MotoGP world champion, I should say. You know, in his prime, on a bike that he knows well. Right. Mark has had a year on a Ducati, so he understands how the bike is supposed to be ridden. So it's not as if he's going in there cold.
Mhm.
So for me, there is no excuses for Mark next season if he doesn't win. If he's beaten by Pecco, you know, that's what I said at the start of this podcast. You know, what will the fanboys say? You know, I'll be putting it out there. I do expect Mark to be able to give Pecco probably the hardest battle that he's ever had, and I would not be one bit surprised if Mark came out on top. But I don't think
he knows it too.
But
Mark
I think
knows that this is his toughest ever. If he knows that, even if he was fresh off the thing, didn't have a break, blah blah blah, this is his toughest, fastest guy he's ever been up against. Period.
Yeah. So I think 2025, he's kind of looking towards that. He's trying to make sure he fully understands it. The problem for Mark that Mark is going to have is that 2-bike jump.
Explain the 2-bike jump.
Okay, so we look at anyone that's made the 2-bike jump.
The 25.
Yeah. So for example, Bastianini went from a 21 to a 23.
Mm-hmm.
Struggled. You know, and some went from the 22 to the 23, or the 21 and 20, and they struggled. And that's where I think it was Marini, wasn't it? Marini went from, I can't remember. But there is...
somebody else knows that. Now, why isn't Mark... Didn't he jump for at least the B-bike 23 from get-go?
But he has the B-bike now.
Yeah, true. For
He
sure
has...
got that down? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't
You said Mark has the B-bike?
Yeah. I've been saying this for weeks and no one has been picking it up. Look at the front wheel.
He feels unloved now. Therapy.
Look at the front wheel, and you will see the aero on the front wheel is driving it into a different place in the side pods. The side pods or the downward ducts are slightly bigger than they were at the start of the year. That tells me it's the B.
Mm.
Oh, guys!
And all of a sudden, Bezzecchi has got faster.
Yeah.
By the way, did you see? This is important. Did you see that interview of Marc Marquez with the English? I don't know if he was Scottish. I don't know if he was. You all sounded like to me. The
TNT.
UK, and they were talking about the kid was talking about. He was a young announcer. You don't know who he is, or whatever. And he was talking about the Isle of Man, and he's talking to us about Marc Marquez. Marc Marquez has no idea what the hell he's talking about, right? He's trying to say, I don't know, he's being cordial. He's saying, I don't know about, the Isle of Man and all that sort of thing. But then he started talking about riding and the years riding now and the year of upcoming. And being that this was some pissant little show, he figured it had some truth to it. He wasn't thinking it out ahead of time, right? It wasn't scripted. And he goes, the only thing he's having a problem with is what you and I talked about, Mac, originally, of trained reflexes. He goes, I have to learn how to do that rear wheel. I've had a whole career of riding with a bike on the front tire, and I'm still learning to go off that rear wheel. Mm-hmm. Now, that scares me because sometimes it never comes.
It doesn't, yeah. Okay. And that's what I've always said about Rossi. And one of the things that fascinated me about him was his ability to change his riding style to suit what the bike needed. Right?
How rare that is.
And it is. It is very rare. And it was actually I was watching a race. I think in 2001, was it 2001, the British Grand Prix on a 500. And I was just laughing when I was watching Rossi's style on that compared to flick forward 7 or 8 years, 2008 in Catalonia on a MotoGP bike. And okay, like it was a 500, so you could say, but like he was kind of leaning shoulder in, but helmet up, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden he switched to shoulder forward, head forward, so his eye line in sync with the handlebar, or in line with the handlebar. And it was just epic to see.
Like Martin, more or less like Martin, you're saying?
Yeah, but it was the same rider, but it was the evolution of the riding style to what the bike and the tires allowed him to do.
Yeah.
Also, people do definitely need to check out Alex Rins's Instagram. They put a visor cam on a MotoGP rider, so it's inside.
Anything. Either love it or hate it.
It's inside the helmet.
It's, if you could imagine, it's in the cheek of the helmet protection. So you have it on eye line. I know Formula One camera crews and MotoGP ones have been working together, and Formula One have cracked the visor cam, and MotoGP, but like you're literally seeing it from the rider's eye point. It's and you're right. You either love it or you hate it. Like me as a racer going around circuits like that, I'm like, I now understand how Alex Rins goes through the first chicane in Misano. I know his line. I know, Joe, the way it's funny. It's funny. It's funny that you're looking at, like I was looking at the curbs as his reference point. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, so if I can replicate that now going through there, do you know what I mean? I'm on an optimal line or a Rins line or whatever it is.
Yep.
I thought it was really, really, really good. It is a bit hairy because his fucking head goes a bit like fucking this at times, right? But again, saying that, you do forget in your own mind, okay, the camera can't buff it out, right? But if you're riding the bike yourself, your eyes buffered out that vibration, do you know what I mean? And bumps and stuff like that. So look, it's good. Definitely something to go check out.
Yeah, it's something you want to see, right? I put it this way: it's something you want to see. You don't want it to see it all the time.
No.
America did that, right? Mm-hmm. And they had it on all the time when they first started out. And they said, it's the new thing, blah, blah, blah. We're a new series. We're going to do all things different, blah, blah, blah. Well, they made it so different that you never saw the bikes. You never saw you couldn't tell who the hell was winning. You couldn't tell who was passing who. It was a mess.
But I think, but see, the bigger picture here is what I think, Jake, what's coming. I think this is
it's cool to do, right? But it's not something you want to.
No. But if you watch, so we have Sky Sports over here that do Formula One, right? And they have their own Formula One channel and all of this, right? Mm-hmm. But I can go on board with my favorite driver at the start of a race, or anytime during the race.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I can see from his helmet cam, or I can see from his T-bar thing, or I can see. So this is Liberty Media starting, in my view, that next year or the year after, you will be able to literally go on board with your favorite rider and watch the thing from their point of view.
No, or you could have a split screen like that. You have your regular sign, right? And then you have a split screen on the corner doing the. That would be the shit right there.
Yeah, it's actually something that we should actually put out a poll. I'll put out a poll someday where we try and do a live watch along race reaction thing, or I don't know. We might try and do a race someday. So okay, we'll wrap it up there very quickly. But before we go, it is race day, race weekend. Who are we going for? CB, who are you for?
Man,
sprint? And
I think you already know. I'm going Jorge, man.
For both,
even though I want to say Pecco because Pecco likes Aragon. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. I gotta go Jorge on the sprint and Pecco in the race because I haven't seen Martin do good in Aragon. I haven't seen that. So
All right. Chicky Poo.
I'm going to do almost the same. I'm going to have Pecco for the race, right? With Martin following in second. But the sprint, I want to do Martin in first, and then Marquez in second.
All right. I'm going to go Marquez and Pecco. Marquez for the sprint and Pecco for the main race.
Okay.
Sure.
None of us are off. You know what I mean on this one.
Yeah.
Someone's going to win.
Three different people in the sprint. We got 3 different people.
Oh, we Mr. Cocky today. Listen to him, man.
I'm not so hungover this morning. I'm a bit, but that's so,
what did you say last time? Like last weekend, you were like Cal Crutchlow. Like what?
They said Brad Bender. I think he said Brad. And, I don't know.
Who do you want? Hell, they Kenny Robertson.
It could be fucking anybody, depending on the hangover. But sure, look, this is life. It's about living, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Anyway, right on that bombshell.
Next year, if I'm not kicked the bucket, okay,
mm-hmm.
this goes.
We'll do a podcast in your house. We will.
No, I'm going to tell you what. If I can make it to meet you up at your house, I'll take you to whatever track you want to go to for the weekend.
Right.
I'll feed you and get tickets and all that. I'll send you money to get tickets and all that kind of shit.
For what?
So we can go to a race.
A race, yeah.
We go see a race.
It's got to be Silverstone.
Why don't we just go to Coda?
Coda. Yeah.
We go to Coda. Then all 3 of us could go.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Podcast from Coda.
Live from Coda.
I'll send you money for tickets.
We'll sort all that out, and we'll do a race.
Oh, it'd be cool because this way you could ride the bikes.
Yeah.
You can.
Your bike. I'm giving him my thing when I kick the bucket. Yeah, all right.
I
give him a Ducati.
I ride it back from the States. I go on the container sitting on the bike.
No, my beloved F4RR.
F4RR.
We'll definitely do something. And if we do something, then we'll launch it that we'll anyone in the area, because I know there's a good few people in the States try to go to some races. So yeah, definitely. That'd be good.
Out. Yeah, because me, I need somebody to go with me because I'm,
I'll bring the wheelchair.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. On that bombshell, we will wrap it up for today. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us as normal. And it's race week. We will see you all again next week.